The founding of Lambda Kappa Sigma. Ethel J. Heath graduated in 1897 with a Bachelor of Arts degree from Boston University. For a brief period of time thereafter, she taught school, but soon entered the training class of the Medford Public Library. She was a reference librarian in charge of the branch libraries, one of which was near the drugstore of a trustee of the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy. In 1913, the college was seeking a librarian, and she was recommended for the position. Ethel J. Heath proved to be much more than a librarian. In the fall of 1913, when Ethel J. Heath began her position as librarian of the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy, MCP, there were 13 women enrolled in the institution's 2-year pharmacy program. While Phi Delta Chi and Kappa Psi had already been established at MCP, Ms. Heath found no active organization existed for women. On October 14, 1913, Ms. Heath organized a social club for women at the college under the name the Lambda Kappa Society. For its first 2 years, the Lambda Kappa Society held bi-weekly luncheon meetings to promote fellowship among its members. In the fall of 1915, class schedule conflicts made it impossible for the society to continue as a luncheon club, and the members voted to become an open society to which all women in attendance at the college should belong. Symbolic of this change, Sigma, Greek letter, was added to the society's name, and with it, new meaning ascribed to its Greek letters by Mildred Follansbee, MCP class of 1917. Officers were formally elected, with Annabelle Carter-Jones serving as Lambda Kappa Sigma's first president. In 1916, the society chose its badge, motto, flower, and colors. A constitution and bylaws were formulated and adopted that year, and a council elected. Most importantly, a committee was appointed during the 1916 to 1917 term to investigate whether or not any national sorority for women in pharmacy existed, and if not, to take steps to establish Lambda Kappa Sigma as a national sorority, with the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy being designated as the Alpha Chapter. Under Ethel J. Heath's guidance, Lambda Kappa Sigma, in 3 short years, evolved from a modest luncheon club to a society poised on the threshold of national expansion. World War I had been going on since 1914, and the enrollment of women at MCP was large to prepare to fill the places of the absent men. There were 46 women enrolled in 1917 and 52 in 1918. Of course, there are many types among them, some far more desirable for sorority membership than others. This is what precipitated the change from an open to a secret sorority. While the concept of a national pharmaceutical sorority for women was being debated among the committees of the women's section of the APHA and the ACPF, the Sisters of Lambda Kappa Sigma, with quiet perseverance and singleness of purpose, went to work. On April 11, 1918, Mildred C. Preston and Madeline DeMarche, junior students at Albany College of Pharmacy, Creighton University in Albany, New York, waited for their initiation ceremony to begin. On the other side of the doorway, the Sisters of Lambda Kappa Sigma prepared for the ritual that would transform the young woman into Greek sisters. Although the waiting students had, weeks before, accepted the bid offered to them by the sorority members, they would have known little of what would transpire inside the initiation room, as Lambda Kappa Sigma was, and today remains, a secret society. With the founding of Beta Chapter at the Albany College of Pharmacy on April 11, 1918, Lambda Kappa Sigma distinguished itself as the first national pharmaceutical sorority for women. This period saw great growth in LKS as it added 10 new collegiate chapters. Gamma Chapter at the University of Illinois in Chicago on February 27, 1918, Delta Chapter at the University of Pittsburgh on April 18, 1918, Epsilon Chapter, originally founded in 1918 at the Brooklyn College of Pharmacy, but later reassigned to the University of Maryland, and with Zeta Chapter at the University of California, College of Pharmacy, San Francisco in May 1919, Lambda Kappa Sigma achieved extension across the breadth of the country. Eta Chapter was founded on February 9, 1920 at the Philadelphia College of Pharmacy. Theta Chapter at Creighton University on February 10, 1920, Iota Chapter on April 9, 1920 at University of Oklahoma, Kappa Chapter on November 16, 1920 at University of Kansas School of Pharmacy, Lambda Chapter at the University of Southern California College of Pharmacy on April 4, 1921, and Mu Chapter on January 12, 1922 at Washington State University. The Constitution of 1916 was revised to meet the growing needs of the sorority and was printed in pamphlet form with the new coat of arms, designed by Cora E. Craven in 1919 and distributed to all chapters. The Council of Alpha Chapter conducted the national affairs of the sorority until May 1922, when a graduate Grand Council was organized to initiate work on tasks facing the national organization. Under their stewardship, a considerable amount of work of lasting value was accomplished. The Constitution and Bylaws of 1919, with its amendments, was thoroughly revised and reprinted in 1924. The initiation ceremony of Iota Chapter was accepted for national use. An installation service was written, and together with the initiation ritual, was printed in one booklet. They devised the form of our charters and decided that a national convention must be held and prepared all the groundwork for that meeting to be held in Boston in August of 1926. While word-of-mouth reports and correspondence offered the women of Lambda Kappa Sigma glimpses into the personalities and concerns of those who wore the same badge, they did not allow sisters to know intimately their fellow members. As the sorority developed into a nationwide network of women, the first graduate Grand Council, led by Grand President Annabelle Carter Jones, recognized the need to maintain a sense of unity and common ideals among members. Designed to build loyalty and sorority spirit, the convention aimed to bring chapters together, to foster greater understanding among members of all ages and regions, and to unify standards among the different chapters of their sorority. The women of Lambda Kappa Sigma, on the occasion of their first national convention, held August 6th through 9th, 1926, found their interactions with sisters of other chapters both exciting and illuminating. Convention delegates from Alpha, Gamma, Zeta, Theta, and Iota, representing 5 of the 11 chartered chapters of Lambda Kappa Sigma, discussed immediate sorority concerns, such as the incorporation of the organization, recognition of Lambda Kappa Sigma in Baird's manual, traveling expenses of the national officers, and the program of extension. Furthermore, the convention body adopted a resolution to reduce the number of members at large to 3, resulting in an 11-member council. New chapter was originally chartered at the Highland Park College of Pharmacy on April 24, 1925, and then transferred to the Des Moines College of Pharmacy on January 9, 1928. With the election of a new Grand Council, slated to serve during the 1926 through 1928 biennium, Lambda Kappa Sigma became a national sorority in more than name alone. The first graduate Grand Council yielded control of the sorority's affairs to new national officers hailing from the Midwest, and slated Lambda Kappa Sigma's second biennial convention for Chicago in 1928. The second Grand Council introduced many traditions during the 1926 through 1928 biennium and accomplished significant objectives to secure the future of the sorority. Mainly through the efforts of the Sisters of Gamma Chapter, final steps were completed to incorporate Lambda Kappa Sigma under the laws of the state of Illinois on May 26, 1927. Their certificate of incorporation gave legal status to the sorority, preventing any other body from using the organization's name. That same year, the Blue and Gold Triangle, which made its debut at the first National Convention, was published in printed form, with Anna B. Hallow Webster as its first official editor. The Grand Council introduced the ideas of observing Hygeia Day with a professional program and the universal observance of Founders Day. When the second biennial convention of Lambda Kappa Sigma was held June 21st through 25th, 1928, there were 542 members in the sorority and 12 collegiate active and 4 alumni chapters. Xi Chapter was founded at University of Rhode Island on June 22nd, 1927, Alpha Alumni Chapter on March 27th, 1928, Beta Alumni Chapter in 1923, Zeta Alumni Chapter in 1923, and Gamma Alumni Chapter on June 10, 1928. Due to the growth of the sorority, existing methods of training collegiate members no longer sufficed. The need for a pledge handbook was recognized to provide a consistent and strong fraternity education program considered vital to the success of Lambda Kappa Sigma as a Greek letter organization. Special requirements were set up for the establishment of alumni chapters. The Blue and Gold Triangle Endowment Fund was established, and it was suggested that all chapters establish scholarship awards. As America entered a period of adversity, unprecedented in its history, the third biennial convention of Lambda Kappa Sigma was held in San Francisco, California, July 25th through 29th, 1930. Belle Wentz-Durstein presided over the convention. By unanimous vote, the triangle was changed from an annual to a quarterly publication. For the first time, papers prepared by sisters were presented at convention. Lambda Kappa Sigma did not differentiate between married and unmarried sisters, holding up both as models for emulation by the rest of the sisterhood. For sisters who never married, married late, or found themselves widowed early due to war, Lambda Kappa Sigma served as an especially important source of support, negating claims that they were selfish, career-obsessed, or unfeminine. Epsilon was established at the University of Maryland on December 13, 1928, Omicron chapter on April 4, 1930 at City College of Detroit, Pi chapter at Rutgers University on May 9, 1930, Rho chapter on May 16, 1930 at the North Pacific School of Pharmacy, Lambda Alumni Chapter on August 22, 1929, and Xi Alumni Chapter in 1930. By 1932, pharmacy shifted from a 3-year to a 4-year curriculum, due in part to a study of pharmacy conducted in the 1920s known as the Charters Report. That same year, the 4th Biennial Convention of Lambda Kappa Sigma was held in June in Philadelphia. First Vice President Barbara Hines Collins opened the convention in the absence of Grand Council President Belle Wensterstein, whose father was critically ill. The Philadelphia Convention of 1932 is notable for being the first convention attended by Lambda Kappa Sigma founder Ethel J. Heath. Her convention address on the history and future of Lambda Kappa Sigma was given to members in attendance representing 14 of the sorority's 23 chapters. During this convention, important revisions were made to the Constitution and bylaws. The Grand Council was reorganized. The office of the 6-year member-at-large was discontinued, while the office of the Grand Editor was established. The first, second, and third vice presidents were given responsibility for the collegiate chapters in their respective geographical regions, while the fourth vice president was placed in charge of alumni chapters. A National Scholarship Award, a key initially known as the Merit Pin, was voted on and approved to be awarded by each chapter to a sorority member attaining valedictory rank for the entire pharmacy course, and the pledge fee of $1 was introduced. Sigma chapter at Columbia University was founded on March 11, 1931, Tau chapter at Duquesne University on March 18, 1932, and Ada Alumni chapter on October 21, 1930. The 5th Biennial Convention was held June 21st through 25th, 1934, in conjunction with the World's Fair Exposition in Chicago. 18 chapters were represented. Although time was allotted for the delegates to view the Century of Progress exhibits, they focused on making progress for Lambda Kappa Sigma. A revised pledge handbook was printed, incorporated into the same booklet as the National Constitution and bylaws of the sorority. The convention body voted to set aside $250 towards the purchase of a gift for the new Institute of Pharmacy building of the American Pharmaceutical Association in Washington, D.C. The gift of a visitor's book and stand was presented to the APHA at its national convention held in Minneapolis during the latter part of August 1938. A sorority prayer written by Jo May Zizig from Ada was introduced and adopted for national use and is still the one current used today. By 1936, approximately 700 women had been initiated into Lambda Kappa Sigma when the 6th Biennial Convention was held in Spokane, Washington, June 25th through 29th. Norma Chipman Wells presided. There were only 36 members in attendance. In an effort to assure better chapter representation at future conventions, the Convention Delegates Fund was voted upon and adopted. The fund required each chapter to pay into the National Treasury a stipulated sum, and in return, the Grand Council paid the transportation costs for a delegate to and from the National Convention. Despite poor attendance due in part to the Depression, significant business was conducted. The convention body approved the creation of an official sorority password and sign. The issue was referred to committee, with Cora Craven acting as chair. The password and sign of Lambda Kappa Sigma, which are secret and may never be put into writing, were decided upon by Cora Craven and committee members Monica Perfield, Janice Sarowayne, Norma Wells as ex officio, and presented to the convention for adoption. In other business, the sorority's initiation fee was raised to include the cost of the least expensive badge. Alumni chapters were renamed to follow the standard naming convention for Greek letter organizations, and the requirements for honorary membership in Lambda Kappa Sigma were reviewed and revised, limiting eligibility to outstanding women in pharmacy, allied or related sciences. Upsilon chapter was chartered at the University of Idaho on May 30th, 1936.
The Silver Anniversary Convention of Lambda Kappa Sigma was held in the city of its founding, Boston, Massachusetts, in 1938. Grand President Cora E. Craven presided. In the 12 years between the first and seventh conventions, the size of the sorority doubled in both numbers of chapters and membership. There were now 20 collegiate chapters and 5 alumni chapters. Members went from 537 in 1926 to 1,108 in 1938. Since its debut in 1926, there had been 30 issues of the Blue and Gold Triangle published. Belle Wenz-Durstein, Grand Secretary, had these issues bound and presented them as a gift to the sorority in commemoration of its silver anniversary. The Blue and Gold Endowment Fund, celebrating its 10th year, reported a total of 48 life subscribers. Lambda Kappa Sigma's founder, Ethel J. Heath, was honored at the Silver Jubilee Convention and was presented with a beautiful onyx desk set. Charter members in attendance were given gifts of candlesticks, while at the final banquet, each sister had her place a set of bronze bookends in the shape of a mortar and pestle, a lasting and beautiful keepsake of Lambda Kappa Sigma's silver anniversary. Willette McKeever Cheever, one of the founders and a renowned dancing teacher, presented her pupils in a dance recital as part of the entertainment. During this time, one chapter was added, Pi, at the Indianapolis College of Pharmacy on June 5, 1938. Since LKS joined the Professional Panhellenic Association in 1938, they sent their grand president to represent them at their first PPA convention. Cora Craven was elected to the executive committee as a member at large for the 1939 to 1941 term. The 8th Biennial Convention in 1940 was in Detroit, Michigan, with Omicron chapter welcoming their sisters. Cora E. Craven presided as Grand President. The Grand Council was modified by eliminating the office of the Grand Auditor. There were 78 sisters registered. Omicron chapter presented the fraternity with a national registration book. Sigma Alumni chapter was charted on June 10, 1940. Rho chapter extended an invitation to meet in Portland, Oregon in 1942, but the attack on Pearl Harbor by Japan on December 7, 1941, and the declaration of war on the United States by Germany escalated the European conflict into a global one. Since travel was discouraged and curtailed because of the war, the Grand Council felt it was wise to postpone the next convention slated for Portland, Oregon in 1942. In its place, Grand President Virginia Osel suggested holding regional meetings to facilitate continued contact among members, ensuring viability of the organization until hostilities were over. The first of these meetings, the Eastern Regional Meeting, was held at the Claridge Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey, in June of 1941. In 1942, Midwestern chapters assembled for their first Midwestern Regional in Chicago, hosted by Gamma Chapter. Lambda Kappa Sigma continued to hold regional meetings in odd-number years, alternating with national biennial conventions in even-numbered years, to enable members to meet with Grand Council to discuss chapter progress and concerns. It was presumed that the Grand Council would serve the customary 2 years until the next convention. Changes were made because of wives joining their husbands for heavy work leads. However, 5 Grand Council officers remained on the council for the entire 6 years, 2 of them doubling up on offices and carrying the load. In 1940, publication of the Triangle was suspended for 2 years. The following year, Barbara Collins relinquished her editorship of the Triangle. Grand President Virginia Osel assumed responsibility for the magazine and served in the capacity of managing editor. One issue of the Triangle was published in November 1943. With the help of guest editors, Virginia Osel continued as managing editor until 1946 and published the Triangle 3 times annually instead of quarterly. On December 31st, 1945, the entire sorority was saddened by the death of beloved founder Ethel J. Heath. Lambda Kappa Sigma remains today a glorious tribute to Miss Heath, through whose vision and foresight the organization came into being. Expansion during the time included Chi Chapter, was founded on April 20th, 1941 at the University of Washington College of Pharmacy. Omicron Alumni Chapter was chartered in 1942, and Rho Alumni Chapter was formed in November 1943. Peace with Japan was signed in 1945, and sorority sisters looked forward to their first post-war convention, slated for Portland, Oregon in June of 1946. Chapter contact had been maintained since 1940 National Convention through 5 Eastern and 2 Midwestern regional meetings. The Western chapters were unable to host any regional meetings in the 6-year interim due to the great distances between chapters. Virginia Osel presided at the convention. A floral tribute was presented by the Sisters of Alpha Chapter in memory of founder Ethel J. Heath. In her honor, Lambda Kappa Sigma Scholarship Key was renamed the Ethel J. Heath Scholarship Key. In new business included the bonding of all officers hand handling money, awarding an efficiency cup to the most outstanding collegiate chapter of each biennium, and to continue with the regional meetings. Psi Chapter was chartered at the Detroit Institute of Technology on September 27, 1947. Omega Chapter on April 24, 1948 at the Medical College of South Carolina, and Phi Alumni on December 2, 1947. The 10th Biennial Convention of Lambda Kappa Sigma was held in Baltimore, Maryland in June 1948. Grand President Imogene Geisler presided. A design for a sorority identification pin, a small gold mortar and pestle bearing the Greek letters of Lambda Kappa Sigma on the mortar, was presented and adopted for use. It was the wish of the convention body that Grand President of the sorority serve as the official representative to the Professional Panhellenic Association. Furthermore, members voted to give each outgoing Grand President a pearl gavel pin. The office of the 4-year member-at-large was dropped and decided that the Grand Treasurer should assume the complete handling of money rather than having it sent first to the Grand Secretary. Chi Chapter of Seattle, Washington was selected as the first recipient of the Efficiency Cup. Delegates voted to print the Constitution and the Pledge Handbook as separate publications. 5 chapters were chartered: Alpha Alpha at Temple University on October 16, 1948, Alpha Beta Chapter on September 16, 1949 at University of Connecticut, Alpha Gamma Chapter at Howard College Division of Pharmacy on January 4, 1950, Delta Alumni Chapter on December 13, 1949, and Chi Alumni Chapter October 1949. In June of 1950, the Korean War was declared. News of the police action reached the Sisters of Lambda Kappa Sigma while they were assembled at the 11th Biennial Convention, hosted by Phi Chapter in Indianapolis, Indiana. Grand President Amelia C. D. Dominicus presided over the 105 registered members from 20 collegiate and 1 alumni chapter. Delegates voted to establish a uniform Founders Day ritual for the observance of Founders Day. A motion was approved to grant new charters to alumni chapters upon their formation, and the newly revised bylaws of the Blue and Gold Triangle Endowment Fund were adopted. At the final banquet, Eta and Epsilon chapters were co-winners of the Efficiency Cup. Special recognition was given to Belle Durstein of Mu for faithfully serving on Grand Council for 24 years. On November 19, 1950, Alpha Delta chapter was chartered at the University of Michigan. Alpha Epsilon at the University of Tennessee on May 18, 1951. Alpha Zeta on May 13, 1951 at the St. Louis College of Pharmacy, Alpha Eta chapter on June 6, 1951 at Long Island University, Alpha Theta on March 23, 1952 at the University of Buffalo, Epsilon alumni in 1951, and Tau alumni in 1952. Alpha hosted the Eastern Regional meeting in 1951, and the Western Regional was held in Oregon. The glamour of movie studios, Beverly Hills, and Southern California beaches greeted delegates to the 12th Biennial Convention, with 106 registered members representing 37 of the 42 chapters. Grand President Margaret Harrison presided. In spite of the many distractions and attractions in and around the movie capital, much business was conducted. Annual chapter assessments in support of the Convention Delegate Fund were modestly adjusted to defray increased transportation costs, while national dues were raised to include a subscription to the Blue and Gold Triangle. A special induction ceremony for honorary members written by Grand Secretary Julia Pachalski was accepted. A Founders Day ritual written by the Alpha chapters was presented to the convention body and unanimously adopted for national use. An efficiency gavel was introduced as an award for the most outstanding alumni chapter during each biennium. Phi Alumni Chapter was honored as the first recipient of the efficiency gavel, while the Efficiency Cup was awarded to Gamma Collegiate Chapter. 3 new chapters were added this biennium. Alpha Iota on May 17, 1953 at Ferris Institute College of Pharmacy, and Alpha Kappa on May 22, 1954 at the University of Georgia, and Alpha Beta alumni on February 21, 1954. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania was the site of the 13th Biennial Convention, with the Eta chapters serving as hostesses. On hand were 115 members representing 36 of Lambda Kappa Sigma's 46 chapters. Ruth Davies Flaherty, Grand President, presided. At this convention, the Grand Council was again reorganized. The Grand Vice President, formerly the First Vice President, continued to serve as supervisor of the alumni chapters. In response to the rapid extension of the sorority into the South, a plan was adopted to realign the chapters into 4 regions: Eastern, Midwestern, Western, and Southern. The remaining vice presidents were renamed regional supervisors. In addition, 3 honorary advisors appointed by the Grand Council were selected to serve each biennium. The office of business manager of the Blue and Gold Triangle was eliminated, and the Booster Fund dissolved. A prospectus highlighting the purposes of the sorority with a summary of activities and advantages of sorority membership was introduced during the biennium for distribution to prospective members during rush. In an effect to increase the public profile of women pharmacists, sisters were urged to wear sleeve emblems indicating their status as registered pharmacists. Chi chapter was awarded the Efficiency Cup, while the Efficiency Gavel was presented jointly to Epsilon alumni and Omicron alumni chapters. Ruth Flaherty wrote and dedicated the creed to the sorority in 1954 while she was Grand President. With the chartering of Alpha Lambda Chapter of the Faculty of Pharmacy, University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada, on April 28, 1956, Lambda Kappa Sigma achieved international status. As the 34th collegiate chapter chartered, Alpha Lambda not only raised the profile of Lambda Kappa Sigma as the first international professional pharmaceutical sorority for women, it brought distinction to its own campus as the first professional sorority established at the University of British Columbia. Alpha Mu was chartered on May 6, 1956 at the University of Toledo. The 14th Biennial was the first international convention of Lambda Kappa Sigma. Hosted by the Gamma chapters of Chicago, the Windy City welcomed 112 sisters representing 30 of the 48 chapters. Grand President Harriet Laskowski presided. In an effort to maintain uniformity among member sororities of the Professional Panhellenic Association, chapter nomenclature was revised. What were active chapters became collegiate chapters, while the graduate chapters became known as alumni. The Efficiency Cup was awarded to Alpha Chapter, while Phi Alumni Chapter earned the Efficiency Gavel. At the final banquet, a special memorial service was held for Lambda Kappa Sigma founder Ethel J. Heath. Each chapter delegate placed a flower into an apothecary jar to commemorate the sorority's founding. Alpha Eta Alumni was chartered on October 14, 1956. By 1958, over 3,000 women had taken a vow of loyalty to Lambda Kappa Sigma. The 15th Biennial Convention was held in Seattle and was the first convention Alpha Lambda delegates attended. Imogen Piper Comer presided. A total of 81 members registered, representing 34 collegiate and 16 alumni chapters. The delegates voted to adopt a memorial service and to designate a chaplain for each convention. The Founders' Day ritual was printed in booklet form. The trusteeship of the Blue and Gold Endowment Fund were eliminated, and the fund constitution dissolved. Assets of the fund were transferred to the Office of the Grand Treasurer. A committee was appointed to implement a national scholarship program. A completely revised pledge handbook prepared by Julia Pichalski, Grand Secretary, was approved. The Efficiency Cup was awarded to Chi Collegiate Chapter, making them a 3-time winner and retiring the cup. The Efficiency Gavel was presented to Phi Alumni Chapter, also a 3-time winner, thus retiring the gavel as well. A junior Grand Council, consisting of 1 collegiate member from each region, was invited to observe the Grand Council meetings during convention. Alpha Nu Chapter at the University of Kentucky was installed on December 6, 1958. Alpha Xi on September 26, 1959 at the University of the Pacific, and Alpha Omicron at West Virginia University on March 13, 1960. Detroit, Michigan was the setting for the 16th Biennial Convention, where 116 members set a convention attendance record in 1960. Grand President Julia Pichalski presided. A discussion of the 5-year pharmacy curriculum and its effect on pledging and sorority membership was at the forefront of the business sessions. The revised pledge handbook was presented to the delegates, while an advisor's manual was approved for distribution to chapter advisors the following biennium. A program for alumni at large named Stray Lamb Program was initiated under the auspices of the Office of the Grand Vice President. Dr. B. Olive Cole was honored as the first recipient of the Lambda Kappa Sigma Award of Merit. The Scholarship Committee presented its plan to the convention at large, and it was adopted. A $200 scholarship will be given annually to a deserving sorority member in the upper classes based on scholarship and need. The convention also adopted a sympathy resolution in memory of Cora E. Craven, who passed during the biennium. New Chapter was awarded the Efficiency Cup, and Chi alumni was awarded the Efficiency Gavel. Alpha Pi was chartered at St. John's University on May 6, 1961, Alpha Theta alumni in December 1960, and Alpha Gamma alumni in 1962. 3 regionals were held: Eastern in New York, Midwestern in Michigan, and Western in Portland.
June 24, 1962 was the start of the golden anniversary of Lambda Kappa Sigma, celebrated where else? In Boston, Massachusetts. In the 25 years since the silver anniversary, membership in LKS grew fourfold, from 1,108 to 4,500 initiated members. Grand President Julia Pichalski presided. The convention was held at the Somerset Hotel in Boston. Founders Annabelle Carter-Jones and Mary Connolly Livingston were in attendance. News of this anniversary event was covered by the local media. Julia's dream of publishing the first comprehensive history of Lambda Kappa Sigma was realized at this convention. She presented members with the Golden History Book, a chronicle of the sorority's first 50 years of dedication to women in pharmacy. Alpha Chapter was presented with a Golden Anniversary Certificate, while 19 other chapters received Silver Anniversary Certificates. Barbara Hartman Johnson was honored as the second recipient of the Award of Merit. The first Lambda Kappa Sigma Scholarship, now known as the Cora E. Craven Educational Grant, was awarded to Nancy E. Stevens of Phi Chapter. Alpha Rho was chartered on May 2, 1963 at Northeastern University, and Alpha Lambda alumni on January 19, 1963. The 1963 regional meetings were held in Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, and Portland. The Sisters of Alpha Epsilon Chapter welcomed fellow lambs to Memphis in 1964, the home of the blues and the birthplace of rock and roll, for the 18th Biennial Convention. Margaret Sherwood, Delta, had submitted many reports to the Blue and Gold Triangle throughout the 1960s, detailing her work in third world countries served by the SS Hope. These reports sparked interest in the hospital ship and led to the adoption of the SS Hope as Lambda Kappa Sigma's national philanthropy, and the first manual for chapter operations was distributed to the officers of all chapters. In other business, a new membership category of patron was approved as a means of honoring persons interested in the sorority who have provided meaningful assistance to a chapter. Chi alumni retired the Efficiency Gavel. One of the most important matters discussed at the 19th Biennial Convention in Stockton, California in 1966 was the revision of the national bylaws pertaining to the Ethel J. Heath Scholarship Key. The requirements for the key was revised from a criteria of an average of 90 or above, or its equivalent for the complete pharmacy course, to that of a cumulative scholastic rank in the upper 10% of all candidates for graduation. This change was made to reflect the varying academic grading systems among the colleges of pharmacy. Furthermore, it was the consensus of the convention body that the method used to determine the cumulative rank of the candidate be left to the discretion of each individual dean. In 1965, there were 22 recipients of the Ethel J. Heath Scholarship Key. The Grand Council recommended support for a proposal to the Postmaster General of the United States that a pharmacy commemorative stamp be issued. The manual for chapter operations was distributed to the officers of all chapters. The Efficiency Cup was presented to Alpha Xi Collegiate Chapter, the host chapter for the convention. The Efficiency Gavel was presented to Alpha Alumni Chapter. Julia Pichalski was elected president of the Professional Pan-Hellenic Association for the 1967 to 1969 term, after having served as a member-at-large and vice president of the PPA. In July of 1968, the sorority returned to Indianapolis for the 20th Biennial Convention, hosted by the Phi chapters. Golden Anniversary Certificates were presented to Beta, Gamma, Delta, and Zeta collegiate chapters. Norma and Clara Wells were honored as being charter members of the Zeta chapter and 50-year members of the sorority. The Award of Merit was accepted by Dr. Muriel C. Vincent, Assistant Dean of Pharmacy at North Dakota State University, College of Pharmacy in Fargo, North Dakota. A decal was authorized at the convention and distributed to all chapters soon after the conclusion of the meeting. In conformity with the PPA, and in keeping with the trend in fraternal organizations, Lambda Kappa Sigma, founded historically as a sorority, became officially known as a fraternity. The office of member at large was dissolved and the eastern region was divided into 2 provinces with a regional supervisor for each province. The implementation of chapter visitations was approved. The 1970 convention was held in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, hosted by Eta Chapter and Alpha Alpha chapters. Lorraine Gribbins received the Award of Merit. Alpha Sigma at Texas Southern University was chartered on February 21, 1970, Alpha Alpha Alumni Chapter on July 26, 1970, and Alpha Xi Alumni Chapter on October 17, 1970. The 1972 convention was held in St. Louis, Missouri, with Alpha Zeta chapters as hosts. Betty Hart Tusa received the Award of Merit. A certificate for members who have been initiated 50 or more years ago was awarded to Ruth Flaherty, Clara Wells, and Norma Wells. The office of Grand Vice President was divided and the office of Member at Large reinstated with responsibility for stray lambs. The $250 Dr. B. Olive Cole Graduate Educational Grant was established. 3 alumni chapters were established during the biennium: Alpha Sigma, Alpha Pi, and Alpha Zeta. Anaheim, California was the site of the 1974 convention with Lambda chapters as hosts. Dr. Sylvia Mulvihill received the Award of Merit. In 1973, Phoenix Metro Chapter had been installed as the first metropolitan alumni chapter. Pi Alumni Chapter was also chartered. The 1976 convention was hosted by Omicron, Alpha Iota, and Alpha Mu chapters. Title I of the 1972 Education Amendments Act was discussed in depth, and it was decided that LKS should petition to remain a single-sex organization. Additional work continued on the Educational Trust. Alpha Omicron Alumni Chapter was chartered. The Dr. B. Olive Cole Graduate Grant was raised to $300, and 6 Cora E. Craven educational grants were raised to $250 each. The 1978 convention was held in Albany, New York, with Beta Chapter serving as host. The Professional Pan-Hellenic Association has combined with similar men's group, forming the Professional Fraternity Association. The Educational Trust had grown and began to fund the educational grants. The first Distinguished Service Citation was awarded to Julia Pichalski. The Award of Merit was accepted by Peggy Calouse Frazier. New alumni in Des Moines was chartered on October 29, 1977. The 26th Biennial Convention in July 1980 brought the Sisters of Lambda Kappa Sigma to Birmingham, Alabama, where they enjoyed the southern hospitality of the Alpha Gamma chapters. Grand President Judith Riffey presided. When calling the convention to order, Grand President Riffey stressed the need for new, progressive changes in Lambda Kappa Sigma's organizational goals as the fraternity entered the 1980s. The convention body voted to continue in opposition to Title IX and to remain a single-sex organization. The fraternity bylaws were extensively revised and dues were increased to $20 per year. An initiation fee, which incorporated a previously separate pledge fee and a life subscription to the Blue and Gold Triangle, was established at $25. The approved budget enabled the fraternity to begin an important transition to a business operational model. The office of the Member at Large was dissolved, and the Grand Vice President assumed full responsibility for alumni activities. The number of Cora E. Craven grants was increased to 10 and made available to members in both PharmD and BS Pharmacy programs. Dr. Gail Bellward of Vancouver, Canada was the recipient of the Award of Merit, and Francis Curran was the recipient of the Distinguished Service Citation. New Collegiate Chapter won the Efficiency Cup, while the Efficiency Gavel went to Eta Chapter. Lambs from as far west as California and as far south as Georgia traveled to the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to attend the 27th Biennial Convention in July 1982, where Delta and Tau Collegiate and Alumni chapters served as hostesses. In a break with past convention protocol, the convention's business sessions were conducted in 3 days instead of 4 to help relieve the financial burden of travel to fraternity members. The Award of Merit was presented to Gloria Doty, and the Distinguished Service Citation was awarded to Adele Lowe. Alpha Iota Chapter was awarded the Efficiency Cup, and Alpha Zeta alumni received the Efficiency Gavel. Delegates adopted a bylaws amendment to allow stray lambs voting delegates to begin with the 1984 convention. The LKS Educational Trust continued to grow. One Dr. B. Olive Cole grant was awarded in 1983 and one in 1984. 12 Cora E. Craven grants were awarded in 1983 and 18 were awarded in 1984. As of January 1st, 1984, 12,656 women had been initiated as Sisters of Lambda Kappa Sigma. The fraternity's first annual fundraising campaign began with the Campaign for Progress in 1983. This successful initiative, coupled with the intense effort to revitalize alumni support and interest, heralded a new era of alumni participation in Lambda Kappa Sigma. During this biennium, the Grand Council established the Ruth Davies Flaherty Service Award. This award, inspired by past Grand President Ruth Davies Flaherty, was established to honor outstanding chapter service and loyalty. Each collegiate and alumni chapter may award the recognition annually. In 1984, a total of 10 Ruth Davies Flaherty Awards were presented. Seattle, the Emerald City, was the site of the 28th Biennial Convention of Lambda Kappa Sigma, hosted in July 1984 by the Chi chapters, with Mary Greer presiding. The first strategic organizational plan for the biennium was adopted. Mary Greer was chosen by the Grand Council to serve as Lambda Kappa Sigma's first executive director. The Pharmacists Against Drug Abuse was chosen as the international professional project for the biennium. Support of Project Hope as the fraternity philanthropy was continued. The Distinguished Service Citation was awarded to Patricia Hornall Tannick from Chi. The Award of Merit recipient was Marilyn Harris from Tau. Alpha Kappa Collegiate Chapter won the Efficiency Cup, and Alpha Zeta Alumni Chapter retired the Efficiency Gavel. New publications introduced in 1984 were the Lambda Kappa Sigma Alumni Directory, a chapter newsletter called Links, and new recruiting brochures, The Value Edge, and LKS, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. With gender-specific requirements for membership eliminated due to Title IX, the first female brothers were initiated into the historically male pharmaceutical fraternities Alpha Zeta Omega, Phi Delta Chi, and Kappa Psi. This led to a period of minimal growth and, on some campuses, declining membership in Lambda Kappa Sigma. In response, the fraternity continued to follow the strategic organizational plan. In addition to reaffirming its fraternal purpose of promoting the profession of pharmacy among women, the plan sought to expand membership, increase member involvement on all possible levels, improve communication, and establish sound management principles to enhance Lambda Kappa Sigma's organizational stability. The 29th Biennial Convention was held in Indianapolis, Indiana in 1986, hosted by the Pi chapters. Grand President Patricia Keenly, Ada, presided. The bylaws were extensively revised to reflect the fraternity's commitment to expansion. The Grand Council was reorganized, creating the offices of Grand Vice President for Alumni, the Grand Vice President for Collegiates, and 7 regional supervisors. The designation of stray lambs was changed to Alumni at Large, while the term Honorary Advisor was changed to Grand Council Advisor to more accurately describe the active leadership role these women provided. Dues were set at $30 annually for collegiate members and $40 annually for alumni members, with an initiation fee of $40. The Mary Connolly Livingston Grant was established in honor of this founder, who contributed key funds critical to the development of the Lambda Kappa Sigma Educational Trust. Mary Jo Riley was given the Award of Merit, and Norma Chipman Wells was awarded the Distinguished Service Citation. Alpha Lambda Collegiate was awarded the Efficiency Cup, while Omicron Alumni was awarded the Efficiency Gavel. In 1984, Lambda Kappa Sigma took a leadership role in the planning of an international conference on women in pharmacy, which was held in London, England, June 21st through 27th, 1987. The International Leadership Symposium, The Role of Women in Pharmacy, had over 200 representatives from 18 counties in attendance at the symposium, which provided for the exchange of information and ideas in a think tank environment. This symposium on women in pharmacy provided the impetus for a series of luncheons and symposia at the Federation of International Pharmaceutique Congresses, FIP. The resolve and the renewed sense of inspiration that came out of the symposium led to the establishment of the Merck Vanguard Leadership Award. Lambda Kappa Sigma, through Executive Director Mary Greer, had collaborated with Merck, Sharp, and Dome's Manager of Pharmacy Relations, Paul Baumgartner, in the planning of the symposium. At the 1987 regional meeting of Lambda Kappa Sigma, Mary Greer, with Lambda Kappa Sigma's Grand President Patty Keenly, and Merck's Paul Baumgartner, met to discuss ways to recognize women in pharmacy. Baumgartner took his suggestion, the establishment of a leadership award, to Merck for company approval and funding. The Vanguard Award, presented annually by Lambda Kappa Sigma to a distinguished alumni, was established to honor women in pharmacy who have excelled in sustained exemplary practice or entrepreneurial endeavors in their influence on the profession of pharmacy and through their leadership ability in the professional setting and community. In 1989, Mary Jo Riley became the first recipient of the Merck LKS Vanguard Leadership Award. Expansion during the biennium included the chartering of Alpha Tau alumni in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
The Diamond 75th anniversary of Lambda Kappa Sigma was held in the founding city of Boston, Massachusetts in 1988. Grand President Patricia Keenly presided. In honor of the fraternity's Diamond anniversary, 2 new publications were unveiled: a 75-year history book and Compounding Was More Fun, a book highlighting the life experiences of women in Lambda Kappa Sigma. New fraternity jewelry pieces, including a mortar and pestle and lamb designs, were introduced by Balfour. Sisters at the Convention kicked off a year-long celebration of our 75th anniversary with a ceremony marking our rededication to our purpose of promoting the profession of pharmacy among women. Award winners at the 1988 convention were Shirley Pinder McKee, recipient of the Award of Merit, and Margaret Garth Harrison, recipient of the Distinguished Service Citation. The Efficiency Cup was awarded to Tau Collegiate Chapter, and the Efficiency Gavel was won by Phi Alumni Chapter. As a result of civil rights legislation, this convention body voted to delete all gender references from Lambda Kappa Sigma's membership requirements, ending a 12-year effort to legally remain an all-women's organization. Project Hope was reaffirmed as our international philanthropy. Professional presentations at the convention included Leadership Symposium for Women in Pharmacy, JRO Pharmacy, History of Women in Pharmacy, Shearing Report 9, and Contraception. In 1990, Lambda Kappa Sigma was off and running to celebrate its 31st biennial convention in Lexington, Kentucky in late July. Alpha Nu chapters served as hosts with Grand President Ruth Brown presiding. Lambda Kappa Sigma's international bylaws were revised to reflect changes in the Grand Council, dues, and pledging. Lambda Kappa Sigma's decision to eliminate traditional pledging in favor of the member orientation program was a testament to the foresight of fraternity leaders in anticipating future barriers to organizational growth and sustainability. Rush became recruitment, pledge became potential new member, and the fraternity successfully positioned itself to partner with campus leadership in providing opportunities for collegiate chapters to make positive contributions to campus life and to have an impact through community service programs. The Grand Council was restructured to improve efficiency, with the past Grand President now designated to serve in advisory capacity to the Grand Council. The Grand Council advisor positions were eliminated. The Office of Collegiate Representative was established, with Christine Perry, the first collegiate to serve in this capacity. Dues were set at $35 annually for collegiate and $50 annually for alumni, with an initiation fee of $45. The Cora E. Craven and Mary Connolly Livingston grants were increased to $500 each, while the Dr. B. Olive Cole grant was increased to $1,000. Marilyn Springer Haberly was honored with the Distinguished Service Citation for her outstanding service of over 28 years to Lambda Kappa Sigma. The Award of Merit was presented to Marlene Fitcher. The Merck Vanguard Leadership Luncheon was held in honor of the recipient Mary Rickelman Greer. The Efficiency Cup was awarded to Alpha Chapter, while Phi alumni took home the Efficiency Gavel. Lambda Kappa Sigma's 32nd biennial convention was held in Charleston, South Carolina in August of 1992, with Grand President Marilyn Harris of Tau presiding. Bylaw changes adopted at this meeting allowed for the election of voting Grand Council members by mail ballot and the creation of 2 positions, Alumni Supervisor and Executive Director. The Distinguished Service Citation was awarded to Judith Riffey, and Arlene Kaiser was honored with the Award of Merit. Michelle Valentine was the Vanguard recipient in 1991, and Sarah White was the recipient of the 1992 award. The Efficiency Cup went to Ada Chapter, and Chi alumni received the Efficiency Gavel. On September 14, 1993, Lambda Kappa Sigma expanded its international outreach when Alpha Upsilon alumni of Nishiku, Kobe, Japan was chartered. Omega alumni was chartered during this biennium, and Gamma alumni was reactivated. Executive Director Mary Greer resigned, although Greer and Associates remained as Lambda Kappa Sigma's management company for the biennium. A search committee was formed to recommend a new management firm to the Grand Council. Christine Goslin was the recipient of the Vanguard Award. The Sisters of Lambda Kappa Sigma were invited to come in like lambs and go out like lions when they were called to convention with Watch Us Roar in '94 at the MGM Grand Hotel in August in Las Vegas, Nevada. Grand President Donna Dancer presided. Delegates adopted changes in bylaws to eliminate the convention delegate fee for alumni chapters. The dues deadline for alumni was changed to April 1st of each year. Alpha Resources of Alpena, Michigan was selected to provide management services for the fraternity. Joan Regola, CEO of Alpha Resources, was named Executive Director for Lambda Kappa Sigma. Gloria Doty received the Distinguished Service Citation, and the Award of Merit went to Mary Ann Coda Kimball. Patricia Clancy Keenley was the recipient of the Merck Vanguard Leadership Award. Alpha Collegiate Chapter retired the Efficiency Cup, and the Alpha alumni won the Efficiency Gavel. A new scholarship award, the Norma Wells Loyalty Grant, was established in honor of Norma Chipman Wells, Grand President from 1934 to 1936, and a founding member of Zeta Chapter at the University of California, San Francisco. The 1995 Merck Vanguard Leadership Award was presented to Paula Castor. The fraternity's 34th biennial convention, heralded as Lambda Kappa Sigma's Gateway to Our Future, was held in August 1996, hosted by the Alpha Zeta chapters. Over 100 members convened in the Gateway City to the West, St. Louis, Missouri. Nancy Horst, Grand President, presided. After a spirited debate, the original motion to increase dues was amended and passed by the convention body. The revised dues schedule was set at $40 annually for collegiates, $65 for initiates, $50 for graduate students, residents, and members over 65, and $70 for alumni. The awards banquet provided a wonderful night of fellowship in which Lambda Kappa Sigma honored 4 of its most distinguished members. The Award of Merit was presented to Donna Horn, who is the youngest person ever appointed to the Massachusetts Board of Pharmacy. Portia DeVore received the Distinguished Service Citation for her outstanding service to Lambda Kappa Sigma, both locally and internationally. The Merck Vanguard Leadership Award was presented to Janet Engel, and Christine Perry was the first recipient of the Distinguished Young Pharmacist Award. Lambda Kappa Sigma renewed its commitment to Project Hope as the fraternity's chosen philanthropy and presented a check for $9,191.41 to a representative of the organization. Dixie Likich, Grand Secretary, gave a presentation on endometriosis, the women's health issue of the biennium. The Efficiency Cup was awarded to Tau Collegiate Chapter, while the Efficiency Gavel went to Alpha alumni. Lambda Kappa Sigma introduced a new Rush brochure, Membership Has Its Privileges, during the biennium, and introduced Students for Progress program. This program was designed to give collegiate chapters the opportunity to participate in fundraising to offset the costs of student and professional development programs. In 1998, Philadelphia became the city of sisterly love as the site of the 35th Biennial Convention. Eta and Alpha Alpha chapters served as the convention host chapters in August for 5 days of sisterhood, leadership, and professional development. Grand President Nancy Horst presided. The first business session included a lively discussion of proposed bylaws changes, particularly related to the replacement of the collegiate representative position with a grand vice president for development position. After a short caucus, the motion passed. In addition, a revised fraternity mission statement was crafted. Expansion during the biennium included the chartering of Alpha Phi chapter at Wilkes University in Pennsylvania and the establishment of a Portland, Oregon Metro alumni chapter. The Distinguished Service Citation was awarded to Patricia Clancy Keenley and the Award of Merit to Alice Till. The Merck Vanguard Leadership Award was given to Angel D'Angelo in 1997 and Betty Jean Harris in 1998. The Distinguished Young Pharmacist Award was presented to Jennifer Stuckman in 1997 and Dixie Likich in 1998. The Efficiency Cup was retired by Tau Collegiate Chapter. Alpha Alumni Chapter won the Efficiency Gavel. In 1999, a new award known as the Adele Labreco Lowe Leadership Grant was established. The grant honors the memory of Adele Labreco Lowe, a past Grand President and Chair of the Trust Liaison Committee, whose vision for an LKS scholarship program and unwavering dedication led to the establishment of Lambda Kappa Sigma Educational Trust. The women's health issue for the biennium was heart disease. At the time of this meeting, membership in Lambda Kappa Sigma stood at 18,102, with 44 collegiate and 34 alumni chapters chartered. Bylaw changes made during the biennium provided for the addition of a new standing committee, the Membership Committee. The fraternity embarked on creating an updated identity with newly designed letterhead, rush brochure, and other promotional materials. In late 1998, the Grand Council voted to provide recruitment materials to the chapter free of charge to reduce the financial burden of using fraternity-approved, appropriately designed recruitment materials. An updated member manual was provided to each chapter, while a comprehensive membership directory was produced by Harris Publishing. Lambda Kappa Sigma enjoyed a productive biennium and looked with excitement towards the start of a new millennium. From its founding by Ethel J. Heath at the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy in 1913 to its standing as the largest fraternity for women in pharmacy, Lambda Kappa Sigma entered the 21st century as a preeminent driving force promoting and supporting women in pharmacy. The 36th Biennial Convention of Lambda Kappa Sigma was held for the first time in the great state of Texas. Houston, the quintessence of the Lone Star hospitality, was the perfect setting for the Sisters of Alpha Sigma chapter to welcome their fellow lambs to convention in August of 2000. Grand President Christine Perry presided. For the first time, the Educational Trust Luncheon was held, providing the opportunity to highlight the work and purpose of the Trust, as well as a forum to personally thank individual members and chapters for their contributions. The following fraternity members were recognized during the convention in Houston for their outstanding contributions to the profession and service to the fraternity during the biennium. Dr. Marilyn Harris, recipient of the Distinguished Service Citation; Captain Judith McCarthy, recipient of the Award of Merit; Ruth DeMar, the 1999 Vanguard Leadership Award; Dr. Barbara Hayes, the 2000 Vanguard Leadership Award; Dr. Linda Clark, the Distinguished Young Pharmacist Award for 1999, and Kathleen McAvoy, the Distinguished Young Pharmacist Award for 2000. The Lambda Kappa Sigma Advisor Award was presented to Christine Perry, the first recipient of this new award. Charting a course for the future was the theme of the 2002 Biennial Convention held at the Windy City of Chicago, hosted by Gamma Chapter and presided over by Grand President Christine Perry. Networking opportunities and professional development took center stage as Lambda Kappa Sigma members, recognized as distinguished leaders in their respective fields of practice, led roundtable discussions and answered questions during a special networking breakfast held for convention attendees. The business session agendas were short, with no bylaws changes to discuss. A total of $6,776.32 was donated to Project Hope for the biennium. Distinguished member Jan Engel, who served as APHA president, was presented with the Award of Merit. The 2001 Vanguard Leadership Award was presented to Bettina Black, and the 2002 Vanguard went to Barbara Hawk. Mary Greer was awarded the Distinguished Service Citation, and the Advisor Award went to Dr. Kim Hancock. The Distinguished Young Pharmacist Award was presented to Dr. Eloise Thibault for 2001 and Dr. Stephanie Ferrari for 2002. The Efficiency Cup went to Alpha Collegiate Chapter, and the Efficiency Gavel was retired by Alpha Alumni Chapter. Chapter anniversaries were celebrated by Xi, 75 years, and Alpha Theta, Epsilon Alumni, and Tau Alumni, 50 years. Baltimore's Inner Harbor, with its nightlife, shopping, aquarium, and world-class restaurants, was the site of the LKS 38th Biennial Convention in July of 2004. Epsilon Collegiate and Alumni chapters served as hosts, and Grand President Christine Perry presided. The opening reception was held at the Dr. B. Olive Cole Museum, a lively event which provided members an opportunity to enjoy pharmacy's rich historical past and to view some of Dr. B. Olive Cole's treasured LKS mementos. While each Lambda Kappa Sigma member has personal goals and dreams, the strength of our fraternity lies in the bonds of sisterhood which stretch beyond the boundaries of campuses and communities. The first Blue and Gold dinner was held as part of a formal convention program in Baltimore and provided a unique opportunity for members, young and old, to enjoy each other's company in an evening of fellowship and fun, celebration and pride, and more than a little laughter and merriment. Through performances of skits, games, and songs, members were able to relax, poke a little fun at each other and themselves, and leave feeling even closer to the sisters in attendance. The business of the convention reflected a move in fraternity operations towards a more business-like model. The strategic organizational plan for the 2004 to 2006 biennium called for increased educational trust contribution, a targeted increase in membership, improved member retention, increased general fundraising, and increased opportunities for the collegiate and alumni interaction. In support of the women's health issue for the biennium, migraine headaches, a fully developed program was presented to attendees and packaged as a complete presentation with speaker's notes and slide presentation for each chapter to use on Hygeia Day. Outstanding alumni who truly exemplified Lambda Kappa Sigma's motto, Esse Quam Videre, were honored during the convention. The Vanguard Leadership Award was presented to Carol Bogdalski-Stuttrud for 2003 and Dr. Cynthia Boyle for 2004. Geraldine Manzioni was the recipient of the Distinguished Service Citation, while the Award of Merit was presented to Dr. Mary Andritz. Dr. Cherokee Layson-Wolf was presented with the Advisor Award. Recipients of the Distinguished Young Pharmacist Awards for 2003 and 2004 were Dr. Ginger LeMay and Dr. Kara Shirley, respectively. Tau Chapter won the Efficiency Cup, while Alpha alumni took home the Efficiency Gavel. Chapters that celebrated anniversaries this biennium were Alpha alumni, 75 years, Alpha Iota, and Alpha Kappa Collegiate, 50 years. As of July 1, 2004, membership in Lambda Kappa Sigma stood at approximately 21,000, with 44 collegiate and 36 alumni chapters chartered. Lambs from across the nation flocked to the heart of Bluegrass Country to attend the 2005 regional meeting in Lexington, Kentucky, hosted by the Alpha Nu chapters. As a regional meeting, no business was conducted in Lexington. However, programs on leadership and professional development and an opportunity to preview important topics for the next convention were an integral part of the planning and fellowship experienced by meeting attendees. Robin Bogner received the Advisor of the Year Award and Lauren Alex Soons the Young Pharmacist Award. The 39th Biennial Convention drew members back to Las Vegas in 2006 with the intention of disproving the idea that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Grand President Dixie Likich presided. Amid the lights and organized chaos that is Las Vegas, important work in strengthening the fraternity for future success moved forward. An organizational budget for the 2006-2008 biennium with a recommendation for dues increase to support critical new services and maintain existing services in the face of inflation was introduced. Following a lively debate, the recommended dues increase was passed, setting alumni dues to $90, graduate and retired member dues were set at $70, new initiate dues were set at $75, and collegiate dues were increased to $60. In addition, members approved the designation of a reserve fund to be used as insurance in the event of a catastrophic financial event, such as a canceled meeting or insurance claim. In Las Vegas, Lambda Kappa Sigma proudly honored the following members. Dr. Creek Charles was awarded the Distinguished Young Pharmacist Award. Donna Kestone was presented the Merck Vanguard Leadership Award. Dr. Avis Erickson received the Award of Merit. Nancy Horst was the recipient of the Distinguished Service Citation. Alpha Pi Collegiate Chapter earned the Efficiency Cup, and Alpha Alumni was awarded the Efficiency Gavel. I am a lamb for life. Those words were first spoken by past Grand President Dixie Likich at the 2007 Lambda Kappa Sigma regional meeting in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Lamb for Life initiative, masterful in its simplicity, was envisioned by the Grand Council as one way to take Lambda Kappa Sigma to a new level of member involvement. The program seeks to identify individual interests and maximize members' talents for the benefit of the fraternity's work and future endeavors. It emphasizes sisterhood as a lifelong commitment. Over 100 regional meeting attendees volunteered to work in one of 7 key areas for fraternity growth and development. These activities were incorporated into the fraternity's 2006-2008 Strategic Organizational Plan. Kathy McTurnan received the Vanguard, Cherokee Layson-Wolf the Young Pharmacist Award, and Kathleen Bizink the Advisor of the Year Award. Southern hospitality was in abundance at the 40th Biennial Convention held in Savannah, Georgia in August of 2008. Over 160 members and patrons in attendance basked in the architectural splendor of one of America's most popular and beautiful historic cities. Grand President Jennifer Rhodes presided. The convention's opening breakfast included a keynote address from David Stolman of the organization Campus Speak, widely recognized as the nation's foremost authority on fraternity recruitment strategies. Mr. Stolman's address was entitled Buy In or Get Out, and addressed identification, recruitment, and retention of quality members to build strong, cohesive, and engaged chapters. This presentation provided the perfect segue for presentation of newly crafted Lambda Kappa Sigma Core Values Program. Members participated in a detailed review of the LKS Creed and mission statement and identified ways to incorporate these guiding principles into the decision-making process for all chapters. In recognition for exemplary service and professional accomplishments at this convention were Jenny Brandt with the Distinguished Young Pharmacist Award, Lisa Anzizi, the Award of Merit recipient, Stephanie Vitale, the Merck Vanguard Leadership Award winner, and Ruth Brown, recipient of the Distinguished Service Citation. The Efficiency Cup was awarded to Xi Chapter, and Alpha Alumni Chapter took home the Efficiency Gavel. Chapters that celebrated milestone anniversaries were Alpha Nu, 50 years, and Tau, 75 years. Cervical cancer was chosen as the LKS Women's Health Issue for the biennium. Fraternity members demonstrated that they are the very heart and soul of Lambda Kappa Sigma as they convened in Hartford, Connecticut for the 2009 regional meeting. Grand President Sharon Brown introduced a proposed Lambda Kappa Sigma brand platform for discussion prior to presentation to the full convention body in 2010. The brand platform provided guidelines related to the use of color, terminology, and visual references to Lambda Kappa Sigma as an organization. It also provided actionable steps in support of the strategic organizational plan. At the final luncheon of this regional meeting, Carrie Melessa was awarded the Distinguished Young Pharmacist Award. Ginger Scott was presented with the LKS Advisor Award, and Dr. Robin Bogner was the recipient of the Merck Vanguard Leadership Award. Building Bridges of Sisterhood was the theme of Lambda Kappa Sigma's 41st Biennial Convention as the members of Delta Collegiate and Tau Collegiate and alumni chapters welcomed their sisters to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in July of 2010. Grand President Sharon Brown presided. The convention body voted to adopt the proposed Lambda Kappa Sigma brand platform, paving the way for the creation of a unique LKS marketing and promotional program. The brand platform, still in use today, was composed of the LKS mission, vision, values, and tagline. Through repetition of the presentation of the brand platform, Lambda Kappa Sigma sought to create local, state, and national recognition during fraternity events and national meetings. A milestone in fraternity history was reached at this convention when delegates approved the bylaws change to hold conventions every year while maintaining a 2-year operating budget. The need for improved communication and more rapid turnaround of time-sensitive decisions were part of the impetus behind the change. Other advantages were the opportunity for increased personal interactions among members and the chance for every collegiate fraternity member to attend a convention during the course of their college career. Lambda Kappa Sigma raised more than $19,000 during the biennium for Project Hope, including $4,000 earmarked for relief efforts in Haiti. The fraternity was proud to recognize and honor the accomplishments of 4 very special women who demonstrated that excellence is not an act, but a habit. The Award of Merit recipient was Lynn Harrelson. Gloria Bernstein received the Distinguished Service Citation. The Merck Vanguard Leadership Award was presented to Stephanie Ferrari. The Distinguished Young Pharmacist Award recipient was Debbie Pruss. Alpha Chi Chapter was chartered at Northeastern Ohio University College of Medicine. The first annual convention of Lambda Kappa Sigma was hosted by Omicron Collegiate and Alumni Chapters in Detroit, Michigan in July 2011. The Westin Book Cadillac Hotel was the destination for sisters who headed out to the Motor City where the convention theme was Putting You in the Driver's Seat. Grand President Sharon Brown presided. The business sessions included the topics of types of memberships, the LKS brand platform, and the fraternity color palette. Ovarian cancer was announced as the 2012 Women's Health Issue. New Collegiate's innovative program, Hope Walks, was integrated into a national convention for the first time. Project Hope Chair Jenny Brandt proudly announced to convention attendees that the goal of raising $5,000 for Project Hope had been surpassed. The fraternity proudly celebrated the 50th anniversary of the first Lambda Kappa Sigma Educational Trust Grant, with remarks by recipient and honored guest Nancy Stevens Keene. A history of the trust was presented by Trust Liaison Committee members. The 2011 Merck Vanguard Leadership Award went to Christine Perry. The Distinguished Young Pharmacist Award was presented to Kristen Fink, while the Advisor Award was presented to Judith Chrysler, Alpha Phi Advisor. A new fraternity award, the Chrysanthemum Award, was presented to chapters who increased their membership through effective recruitment and retention strategies. The Outstanding Collegiate Chapter Award went to Alpha Chapter, while Chi Alumni Chapter won recognition as the fraternity's Outstanding Alumni Chapter for 2011. In July 2012, the Sisters of Lambda Kappa Sigma set their sights to the west in search of new adventures. Charting Our Course was a theme of the fraternity's second annual convention held at the Town and Country Resort in San Diego, California. Grand President Sharon Brown presided. Lambda Chapter served as host for the meeting, despite the significant distance from their home campus. As in previous years, the 2012 Trust Luncheon and Auction was a great success, raising over $3,500 through the auction and $2,000 in memorial and celebration. Awards and recognition presented in San Diego included the Merck Vanguard Leadership Award to Ruth Brown, the Distinguished Service Citation to Dixie Likich, the Distinguished Young Pharmacist Award to Tiffany Self, and the Award of Merit to Mary Greer. The 2012 convention in San Diego closed amid the excitement and anticipation of the 100th anniversary convention to be held in Boston in July 2013, the city of our founding. Boston, where we will celebrate and write the next chapter, is Lambda Kappa Sigma's history.